Hello everybody and welcome back to AVY Painting Studios Japan. I'm Josh and I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to paint and apply a double-sided banner. Now this banner was part of the Bretonnian commission that I did for a gentleman in Texas, the United States, and I hope that he has received it either by today or when he sees this video, because he'll need this to apply some of the other banners that I painted for him for his other Bretonnian mounted units. So this is the process that I took in doing so. Now if you've seen the other banner tutorial I did for the ogres, it pretty much follows the same principle, but this time it's going to be a double-sided banner. So both sides are basically mirrored in this case, so they have a fleur-de-lis on both sides, which I've already drawn out. I then coated the banner using some like sort of high gloss varnish to protect it and to stop the paper soaking in the paint and the inks, so that gives it a nice surface to work on. Then I'm just giving the banner a coat in dark Prussian blue. I have some enchanted blue from Watercolors, and I also have some blue glaze from Watercolors. I'm using those three to form the basis of the banner and to paint it, and just to blend and cut back using those three colors until they got a really nice beautiful looking blue that looks really part of the Bretonnian kind of makeup. Then I've got a border that surrounds the outside of the banner. I'm going to paint that in red, and the fleur-de-lis will be in a sort of a yellowy gold color. So let's get onto those steps now. I'm taking some blood red from Watercolors. I'm going to use that because it's my favorite red of all time now, and just with a thin brush, probably a size 0 or size 1 brush, I'm going to now apply very thin layers of that around the outside of the banner. I just went with a bit of an extra step and just added some sunburst yellow into the blood red, just to create a sort of nice orangey, warm orange that I'm just using that as a highlight just to go around the edge of the banner. And from here to do the fleur-de-lis, I'm just using some sunburst yellow. I'm actually going to paint those fleur-de-lis in that color as a base color. And then I'm going to use some of the Watercolors Nostalgia 88 inks. I'm going to use some chestnut wash, and I'm just going to put that on my palette and then sort of just use that to basically shade the fleur-de-lis. And I'm using ivory, or you can use white to highlight the fleur-de-lis. Using the chestnut ink now, I'm going to halve each part of that fleur-de-lis. So just to create the illusion, the three-dimensional illusion of the fleur-de-lis. So underneath the areas where I should think will be shaded, I'm doing that. Now this is kind of an extra step that you don't really need to do if you want to try and emulate this banner, but I think it's a really nice effect to give this three-dimensional look to the fleur-de-lis rather than just being a flat two-dimensional painting. So it just creates a little bit extra bling to your banners, if you like, and I think it came out rather well. So just add more ivory to sharpen up and to highlight and to shape the fleur-de-lis design now. And you can then, doing the same thing with the ink, you can darken or increase the volume of ink in areas of the fleur-de-lis that you want to increase the shade. And thanks to the comments for the previous banner tutorial, and one person asked how do they attach the banner. So in this segment here, we're going to cut out our banner using a steel rule and a very sharp craft knife blade. Make sure you have a really sharp blade because you don't want to tear the paper using a blunt blade. So make sure it's extra sharp, and just carefully cutting away from myself and making sure that I don't cut myself with that sharp blade, and extracting the banner out of the paper template Cleaning it up if I need to. If there's some bird paper on the edges of the banner, just do that, or with a straight rule to get a really nice fine straight line. We want to try to make that banner as exact as possible, because if you're out even by a millimeter or half a millimeter, it's really going to show when you start putting it together. I'm using the butt end of my brush as a way to curl the banner over, line up the edges there, so I can just make sure that everything lines up correctly before even applying any glue. And I'm also going to use the model itself just so that I can see that it fits correctly. There's no problems, there's no issues before I actually apply any glue. Here it's a little bit glary, sorry guys, it must be the inner workings or the magic of the banner here. So I'm just applying some PVA glue that I've mixed down with a little bit of water. Apply that to one side of the banner, including the inside where it wraps around the pole. And here, while the glue is still wet, just using the butt end of your brush again, you can curl that banner and give it shape, give it dimension. So instead of just letting it be just flat, you want it to give it a bit more of a curl here in places, just so that it gives the effect and gives the motion of the wind flying through your banner. And yeah, it just makes it a little bit more of a dynamic looking banner now. Once that's dried, I went back with the blood red using a fine brush, and now I need to paint the edges of the banner so we don't have that white line on the very top and bottom. So it's really important that you go back over and paint over the edges so you don't have that really distracting looking white edge of the paper there. Doing that on both sides and making sure that everything lines up correctly. If there's a slight overlap of the banner, if the paper edges do not match up perfectly, then just cover that with the paint of whatever it might be. In this case it's going to be red because that's the color of the edging. Using some PVA glue if there are some gaps around the banner pole area, making sure your fingers are nice and clean. Press down there and hold that for a second or two, just so that the banner at the very edge there where it attaches to the pole itself on the model is nicely glued down and attached correctly. There we go guys, that's the end result of our banner. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I really enjoy making these videos for you guys. Thank you again for all the comments and the feedback I get on these videos. I really appreciate that, and I hope Mike in Texas and the USA enjoys taking these to the field. Thanks again guys. Remember guys, if you enjoy these videos or if you would like to inquire about a commission for yourself, you can always contact me at avyled@gmail.com. Please listen to the podcast and share those with like-minded people that would enjoy the content, and please consider becoming a Patreon. Thanks again guys, see you in the next one, bye.